What is going on, everybody? FJC here, back with another finals update video. The day I'm recording this commentary, update 1.6.0 dropped, and there were a lot of huge changes to the game that were made that I'm going to talk about in this video, and all I gotta say is a lot of people are going to be extremely happy. So without further ado, let's get right into the changes. We're going to start out by talking about the balance changes, and the first item that we have on the list is the dome shield, and I'm actually very happy about this change. The dome shields will now use squad colors if the use enemy squad color setting is enabled. So if you're getting third-partied by another team and they throw a dome shield, for example, if you're fighting orange and purple comes to third party, it'll be a purple dome shield. Next, we have the vanishing bomb, which has an increased invisibility interrupt grace period now for teammates from 0.65 seconds to 0.8 seconds, and they increased the invisibility interrupt grace period for the player as well from 0 seconds to 0.35 seconds. They also went ahead and increased the duration of the vanishing bomb by 1 second. Previously it was at 5 seconds, now it's at 6 seconds, which I think is going to make a huge difference for light players. And the last change that was done to the gadgets were the zip lines. They improved the placement validations for zip lines, making them easier to deploy. I noticed personally when I was inside a window and I was trying to zip line out of it, it would have a hard time finding the right spot to place it. Continuing on with balance changes, we move on to the maps, specifically Las Vegas. For the general changes, they've gone ahead and added some cover in the side of kitchen trolleys to make them easier to use. They replaced the zip line between Eastwood and Decorah, which are two casinos, with a jump pad, moved various cover pieces to avoid gaps in cover, moved various chairs to make traversal easier, and they removed turrets and tripwires map variant in quick cache, banquet, tournament, and ranked tournament modes, while they fix various bugs and reevaluate the gameplay design. Next, we're moving on to specific points of interest within the Las Vegas map, starting with Argonne Casino. With Argonne, they've went ahead and removed some of the monitors in the casino, so some doors are easier to see. They added an extra door to make traversal easier. I personally haven't noticed this yet, but when I do, I'll point it out. And they updated some vault spawn locations and added cover to some of them. The next point of interest that they went ahead and updated is Eastwood Casino. They updated exit points on various zip lines to make it easier to access rooftops, added decals to some windows to make the glass more visible, rearranged the aircon units to create more cover on the roof, and adjusted the position of some of the cash out locations. And the last point of interest that they went ahead and updated was the Glamora Casino. They removed some chairs so it's easier to jump in and out of cashier booths, removed some chairs and railings in the theater to make traversal easier, and various other small fixes and balance tweaks were done. I'm not 100% sure what that exactly entails, but they put it in the patch notes, so I felt like I should let you know. Now we move on to the specialization section of the balance changes, where one change is drastically game changing. We start out with the mesh shield, which has the same change done to it as the dome shield. If you have the use enemy squad color setting enabled, it will now show you different colors for enemy dome shields and mesh shields. And now what I consider to be the biggest change to ever come to the finals, and the biggest change of this update, Recon Changes. And I gotta say, even after all the changes are completed, I played ranked the entire day today, and I gotta say I'm very happy with where Recon is at. So they went ahead and added a range limit to Recon Senses at 30 meters, so players outside of that range, so anywhere above 30 meters, will not be detected. They've also went ahead and updated Recon to where if you are detected by it, you will get a red detected text on your screen, very similar to the tracking dart. And I also want to go ahead and read to you guys this dev note that they put under the Recon changes. It states, Recon senses have become much more common in the meta than we intended and can cause confusion for some newer players. The reduction in range and the warning given to detected players will bring the ability's power back in line with other specializations. Like I said earlier, I'm extremely happy with the changes done to Recon. I find that it's definitely not as overpowered as it once was, and not having the ability to tell which teams are coming towards your vault or going to another vault and telling your teammates, hey, there's 3 teams on vault 1, let's go for 2, is a huge game-changing shift. And now that you are aware when you are detected, I think it changes the way you plan your attack very differently. Seeing that detected notification pop up on your screen lets you know immediately that you are in the vicinity of a team within 30 meters, so they're either waiting for you to leave or you're getting pushed, but that notification can help change the game drastically. Next, we move on to the content and bug fixes, and we start start out with the animation fixes. They've gone ahead and fixed some small issues with the LH1 reload and goo gun inspect animations, and they've also updated reload animations when aiming down sights to add slightly more movement to them. They've also gone ahead and updated some of the audio for the game. They updated footstep audio and the mix for player, teammates, and enemies, and then in a dev note it says it should now be clearer for players to tell friendly players apart from enemies and their own footsteps. They've also gone ahead and fixed an issue where the spawn sound effect could be cut off when respawning. They've updated various voiceover lines and fixed various voiceover bugs. They've also went ahead and updated the career rank, so for everybody at level 40, including myself, they've added 10 more levels, which will come with additional rewards. And for characters, they've gone ahead and fixed an issue where characters could have their legs bent backward on some screens. I've never run into this issue, but I'm not gonna lie, this seems like a pretty funny issue to run into. Now, these next few changes are for controller players only, so if you do not play on a controller, you can go ahead and skip this section. But they've gone ahead and added gyro aiming options for PS5 DualSense and PS4 DualShock controllers. I got no clue what that means, but they have it in the game now. They've also fixed an issue with the aim assistance sensitivity reduction that caused almost no sensitivity reduction to be applied to targets closer to the player than 20 meters. And lastly, they reduced input latency on PS5. And we have one small change to the emotes, which fixed an issue that prevented the player emoting while crouched, which isn't anything major. They've also gone ahead and fixed some issues that would occur with the defibs, which I'm super happy about. They fixed an issue where the player statues could not be targeted for revives when lying in foliage. So basically, if your statue was in the grass, you could not defib the statue until you moved it out of the grass and then defibbed it. And they also fixed an issue where the player statues could not be targeted for revives when carried. Continuing with gadgets, they fixed various issues with placement distances on deployable gadgets, and they fixed an issue where turret parts could collide with each other, causing strange behavior when placed on barrels. Next, we move on to the game mode changes, and we start out with the general changes, the first one being they added the Steal the Spotlight event mode, which is essentially solo banquet, but only heavies. It also states they added the ability for players to customize their contestant loadout for all weapons, gadgets, and specializations during the match lobby at the start of each match in all game modes. But I personally tried to do this today, and I wasn't able to, so if you guys are able to, let me know in the comment section down below, but I do not think it's currently in the game right now. They've gone ahead and lowered the number of rounds required to play ranked tournament. It used to be at 60 and now it's at 45, and they've also shared a little note with us. With the improvements we've made to fair play and banning, the threshold required to enter ranked tournaments doesn't need to be quite so high. In terms of bug fixes and content for maps, they've only discussed one here, being Monaco. On Monaco, they've went ahead and made night and night storm weather conditions slightly less dark for OLED monitors, and they've tweaked LOD settings on some trees in Monaco to reduce popping on low settings. Embark also made some changes to the movement. They fixed an issue where players could become stuck in encroached spaces, meaning spaces that aren't easily obtainable or reachable. They've also fixed an issue where players would fail wall jumps if they pressed and held jump too early in a vault sequence, and they fixed an issue where the player would cancel a slide if aiming down sights was triggered from toggled crouch. Embark has also stated they made improvements to security and cheat detection, which is very helpful, and in the settings they increased the default FOV from 71 to 81, and this is only for new installations. When it comes to the UI, or the user interface, Embark went ahead and made a couple of decent changes to it. They've gone ahead and added a career rank screen where players can see rewards earned by gaining rank. They added a new tournament overview screen to tournament modes, which I think is super cool. They've also gone ahead and added additional item tutorial videos for the following items, and I'm going to read them off now. They have the APS turret, gas grenade, glitch trap, goo gun, motion sensor, pyro grenade, smoke grenade, sonar grenade, and thermal vision. They also added new event contracts to the contract screen, which tie into the Steal the Spotlight game mode, updated the size of ranked icons, fixed wrapping issues on contracts during the end of round sequence, decreased duration of vault objective markers on round start, made various improvements to contextual ping accuracy, making them more accurate, and various bug fixes to the UI. Onto the second last section of the patch notes, we have the VFX or visual effects section. They've gone ahead and added new impact effects when friendly players shoot each other instead of the coin effects, as this could cause confusion for players. They also updated collision on coin death effects to reduce the number of coins that can fall through floors, various polish improvements to the coin death effects, and optimization pass on the gas canister explosion effects. And last but not least, we have content and bug fixes for weapons. They've gone ahead and increased the size of various grenade projectiles to make them easier to see in combat, which I think is great. Fix some issues where the AoE damage could be wrongly invalidated, causing no damage to be done, which is another great fix, fixed an exploit where melee weapons could be swung faster than intended, and fixed an issue that prevented C4 in mines from being picked up when placed on a throwable object that had been picked up. Which basically means if you threw C4s onto a barrel, for example, let's say, and then dropped the barrel, there was an issue where you couldn't pick that barrel back up, but that has now been fixed. So I really hope you guys did enjoy this video and are enjoying the current update to the finals. I have to say I'm extremely happy with the changes made to the game. I think it's a much more balanced ranked game now, and the only ideas I can think of to make the game a truly balanced playing field is to lower the damage on the barrels once again, and also make Recon into a pulse rather than giving your exact location. Other than that, I have absolutely no complaints when it comes to Recon. What Recon was able to do prior to this update and what it can do now is drastically different, and I think it's a huge step in the right direction. But that's everything from me for today, guys. If you guys want to see me play the finals live, click the first link in the description. I'm usually live streaming the finals 7 days a week, playing ranked tournaments. And do me a favor, guys, if you guys haven't yet, go ahead and drop a like on the video and a sub to the channel, as it helps me out immensely, and you may even get lucky enough to get a little smooch. Anyways, guys, I'll see you in the next one. Peace out. Much love.